Hey guys, welcome back to CNSL Season 7 on ArtosisCasts. We are going into the winner's match. It's going to be a best of 3 in the round of 16s. Group C, it's going to be Bishop against Yoon. Should be an excellent match. These guys are both kind of like a similar generation, a similar level, although I know people are loving Bishop on this channel, and I do give him an edge. Let's get into it. Again, a best of 3, starting off on Neo Dark Origin. In the top left, we have Yoon, and in the bottom left, bottom right, we have Bishop. Okay, so this is Neo Dark Origin. I've casted a lot of games from Bishop on 2-player maps and Neo Dark Origin in specifically. I would not be surprised if he does a 2-port Wraith build here. The guy is really into his Wraith builds. He's excellent at them. This is a very good map for that type of play. I've seen it with 8 racks. I've seen it without. You know, sometimes we see vultures popped over that back mineral patch. We'll wait and see what Bishop has planned for us. And Yoon should be pretty on top of what that is as well, right? They've been at a very similar level for a very long time. I think Bishop's been around a bit longer. I've definitely known who Bishop was for a little bit longer, but not that much longer, right? I guess I pay more attention to Terran players as well. But, Bishop has been on the scene playing tournaments like ACS until he won, and, ASL qualifiers for many years as well. And, yeah, we'll see if he has what it takes here to take down Bishop. Now, you see Bishop is walling, so it's certainly a tech build. Or like 99% a tech build. He should be going for a gas. And you can see, oh, dude, that is a 10 racks, 10 gas. Okay. So this is going to be very fast. In fact, I didn't pay attention to the depot. It could have been 10-10-10. That's like an old build. We don't see it very often. I wonder if he's going to try to proxy a factory. He might just bank the factory up here and float it down. There's like several different plays he could do. And we have seen crazy builds like this in the past. Like, for instance, there was an ASL season where Royal won, and he did some sort of super fast vulture rush on this map against Hero, if I'm recalling correctly, right? Where the vulture got in super fast, like just before the sunken. And this could be something like that. That is dude, 216 is crazy, okay? Normal builds, you're going to get this like 15 seconds later, right? Just with like a normal gas opening. So this is very fast. And the thing is, every timing is down so tight at this point that you never know. Like he might get that in right before sunken, and that could win the game. So right now, a Marine coming out. It's going to make this Overlord kind of sway to the side. Now, the Overlord hasn't checked if the command center is being built. He needs to push us down in a moment here to check. Still a lot of gas mining, dude. This is going to be 2-port, 100%. I know all the viewers here that are frequent on ArtosisCasts and Bishop fans are going to be excited about that. So no vulture, just really fast 2-port. In fact, he just makes them instantly when he has money. Yeah, so that's going to be quick Wraiths. Now, what are we going to see from Yoon? Because Yoon, I don't feel like Yoon has too good of an idea of what's going on. He knows it's tech. Well, maybe I'll take that back, actually, because Bishop is, like, very well known. You know that he plays against him a fair amount. Everyone knows that Bishop is really good at this type of play. But will we see, like, a Hydralisk Den, right? There's a lot of different ways that this can be played. You can try to go into the Mutalisk play. Spores are not as good as people think. I know a lot of people are like, well, no, man, you lose so many drones. Like, what about spores? Do you know how many spores you need? At this base, you'd need 3 spores to cover everything. You need 1 down here, 1 up here, and 1 over on this side, where the Wraiths can deal damage, right? And if you're buying a bunch of spores, you're not buying units. Same up here. You need 1 here. Probably realistic. Like, if you have 1 here, maybe here, and then here, it's crazy because you can just find these angles. Now, he did hop a vulture over, by the way. Sorry. He hops a vulture over. I mean, this is a very common play. You see this all the time. He's just microing it really heavily, seeing if he can break the lings. If he kills all the lings, which I would say most of the time you will end up killing all the lings, the drones are going to have a bit of a hard time. So it is forcing more lings out to help out. And you can see just excellent, excellent micro. Yoon has to catch him as he pokes up for vision. So there you go. Yoon finally gets the rhythm down. That's the important thing. You have to catch it as it's coming up for vision and deal damage. You can't let him get that damage without dealing your own. Ah, we have quick burrow. Very cool. I actually didn't notice that he was upgrading burrow, so that's like a really smart play. Look at this. He's not lost any drones yet. But, like, I mean, you're causing so much lost mining time at this point. But truly, like, it's better to just burrow them and not mine than have them die and not mine. So right now, an Overlord is going to get picked. He's going to have to be very careful because he knows that Mutas or Scourge are on the way. It looks like 3 Mutas as well as a pair of Scourge. 4th Muta being started. Dude, this is pretty wild how well he's doing with these Wraiths. Does he catch this? Does he see it? Oh my god. That's huge. Now, the Mutas are going to pop out, and you know what? He gets to unburrow all his drones. He hasn't lost drones. I think that so far this has been a pretty good counter. But these Wraiths were so fast and have done so well so far. He's actually got a very healthy amount. He's killed off 4, he's killed off 2 Overlords, and he forced a ton of drones to burrow. A lot of lost mining time there, but maybe not as much damage as he was planning on. Now, with burrow out, you have all sorts of cool things you can do. He actually needs to reburrow this. This is not blocking the command center, I believe. It's just above. He needs it, like, here. But yeah, he's trying to block that. This is a great play as well. Like, burrow is just good against any tech openings for Terran because you never get science vessels with tech openings. They cost too much gas, right? So it's like, by putting burrow down, first off, you slow down the command center. You make them build turrets or scans or whatever. You see unit movement. All that stuff is really, really positive, helpful stuff for Zerg, slowing down Terran. Now, Carapace is actually on the way here for Yoon. That's interesting. I don't feel like I see that often against these Wraith openings. See what that does for him. Actually, now I'm forgetting. I think this might be a double attack, so maybe that's what that's for, reducing 2 damage. Now, he actually still kills 3 drones. He gets that one just as it's at the end of the burrow animation. So getting some good harass still here with these Wraiths. Bunker goes up with some Marines. This is kind of like a central point for defense. Are we going to see an Academy, a second Rax? What does Bishop want to go for here? Because sometimes, and notice he's building turrets now. So he realizes, like, okay, the defense has been solid by Yoon. There might be an attack that comes down. And if there is an attack, don't forget, there was this weird thing where I was talking about how Mutas beat Wraith straight up, and then some people were being like really aggressive, being like, no, that's not true. It is true. It is true. They beat the Wraith straight up. It's about micro, utilizing range, utilizing cloak. That can allow Wraiths to win, right? So when the Mutas come down, like, you don't want to, if it's 11 Mutas versus 11 Wraiths, you send them into each other, it's going to be rough, right? And of course, don't forget that Zerg isn't limited by, like, the production of 2 starports, right? They can just, for their money, they can just build a ton of Mutas at once. So what he's worried about is the Mutas coming down for a complete engagement and having a hard time dealing with that with the Wraiths. Now, he's getting an armory because he's seen there's so many Mutas, and he's going towards Valkyries. So the Valks are going to be really, really strong, but don't forget what we talked about before. I was talking about, I don't normally see this, but this might be an evolution that I've just kind of missed, because you don't see Wraith into Valkyrie, like, almost ever. I've seen it on the map 76 and some really weird maps, Sparkle and stuff like that, but on a ground map, it's not something that I've seen. But it seems like Yoon has seen that and realizes that if he goes heavy Muta, he's very likely to run into those Valkyries. So when he gets the +1 armor, that's going to be huge for him. Now, 2 Valks are almost done. The whole group of 11 Wraiths are doing a great job right now. You can see that micro. Trying to stay out of range of those Overlords. A couple good volleys come out. We're going to go up to, dude, 5 Valks joined into this. Even the +1 Carapace I don't think will be quite enough. Like, you'd have to get those Scourge hits perfectly, maybe. What a wild game that we have here. Look at this. He's forced to build the turret. Definitely looks like he wants to take an expansion. Okay, so 4 Valks, 11 Wraiths, and we have a little group of Marines here. You know, we have seen some games where people have walked across the map with their Marines as well, just to add in that little bit of extra damage, a little bit of extra tanking. I don't think that that would be very helpful here. I don't think they'd make enough of a difference to do that, to sacrifice them in that way in this particular game, because we've kind of gotten up to a bigger air battle game than we normally get in these situations. Now, Hydralisk Den is already down. The Lurker upgrade is almost here. Queen's Nest. He might, yeah, I was going to say, I don't think he's going Hive. He might just go directly into Ensnare. This is crazy. If he gets up to Ensnare, that's going to change the dynamics of these fights so much. Don't forget that Ensnare reveals Cloak. So that is an anti-cloak mechanism, and the Wraiths can't really be microed with Ensnare on them. Okay, the Wraiths are coming up. The Valks are right behind, 5 of them. Holy crap. I think Yoon's dead. Oh my god. Now, he actually doesn't get the Valks on top of those mutas. He's microing so heavily that they sat there and shot Overlords for a moment. Dude, Yoon's dead. There's no way. This is insane. When I see something like this, I'm like, okay, I think Zerg needs to think of something else to fight against this. When you get to this level of micro that Bishop has, is this broken? Like, because this particular game I'm looking at, I'm like, yeah, that's... You can't go +1 carapace mutas here. Like, I think you have to go Hydras here in some way. Because this was... He literally didn't even lose a unit. He lost 0 units. Okay, this is... Well, he lost these Marines. Because he did send the Marines up. But he didn't lose anything. His entire air army's still there. That was ridiculous. What a game from Bishop. All right, so going into game number 2, we have Yoon in the bottom left of Citadel, and we have Bishop in the bottom right. Very dominating game number 1 from Bishop. I tell you, it's impressive. Like, his micro is so good. I wonder, because there was an era where when Zerg Mutalisk micro, like, they were practicing all the time and got really good at it, that Terran vs. Zerg felt very imbalanced for a little bit. This is something that happens, right? Like, one race has a meta shift, and they might actually build skills that weren't there before, and it feels really hard to deal with. There's been, like, many things in each matchup where that's happened, whether it's just a strategy or it's a strategy plus a skill set. And this is like a skill set that not as many Terrans used, right? Like, we had Wraith builds from, you know, Leda back in the day, from Go. You know, there's been a set of players that have done heavy Wraith plays in the past, and they've been pretty good, but they, you know, we're getting a different level of refinement on some of these builds, and I feel like especially from Bishop, the amount of times that he has used this type of play and how well it has done for him is pretty impressive. And seeing the fact that he keys in that it's like there's no Hydralisk Den, there's mutas here, he's burrowing, right? So he's looking at all these things and kind of, it feels like he's figuring it out, where it's like, okay, I should go Valks here. Whereas if it's like a Hydralisk, right? If you, some people, like, for instance, okay, one of the things that I've seen Sulky do against similar builds, and it's not exactly against Bishop, but like, for instance, against, you know, JYJ in ASL or something, right? He's gone like a Hydralisk Den and a 2-hatch Spire timing. So he'll actually put on Hydralisk pressure into the mutas, which it's like then you're kind of making them make a bunker, and they're having to make other units, and you're keeping them on the back foot a little bit. Obviously, Sulky was sacrificing some of his economy to do that. Anyways, I don't know what the answer is for Zerg, but when I see a game like that, I'm like, well, it is not +1 carapace Mutalisks. That is absolutely not. Now, here's the thing. Maybe you bring forward the Queen timing, right? Like, there's so many... StarCraft is so complicated. There are so many moving pieces. What if he, for instance, right, when he came up for the killing move with the 11 Wraiths and 5 Valkyries, if you already have 1 Ensnare there, you can win that battle. So maybe you bring Ensnare up, if you bring Ensnare forward, right? But if you bring Ensnare forward, but instead of Valkyries, they went Command Center, and they're sitting back with turrets, Well, it's not that it's bad. It's just it's not as good, right? And there's so much back and forth. So, yeah, I don't know. It's all kind of crazy. Let's take a look at these builds. It looks like we're having another Wraith build. Oh my god, dude, Bishop. I would be really pleased if for the second ASL season this year, if Bishop gets a bunch of Zergs in his bracket, he just 2-port Wraiths everyone and goes into ASL, and then he gets Zergs again and just 2-port Wraith. Imagine if he just rails through, right? You guys, the guys who watch ArtosisCasts all the time, will know exactly what's going on and not be surprised, whereas the rest of the world will be like, what? Who is this guy? Why is he so good? He's only been in like 1 ASL or 2 ASLs before. How is he crushing every Zerg? But it's like, yeah, it's kind of wild. Let's see what Yoon does this game, though, right? Like, I don't think he knows quite yet exactly what's going on. The Vulture comes out. Spire on the way. Okay, he does know. He just gets the burrow blind. Like, he hasn't seen the starports, obviously, but dude, it's Bishop. You know what his superpower is in this matchup. And you know the funny thing is, I have casts on here of Bishop playing regular SK Terran. He's really good at that as well. Just to put that out there, it's not as deadly as what we're seeing here, but it's really good as well. Okay, double Vulture is out. He's going in the 2 different directions. This is purposeful to see if any Lings are, excuse me, trying to run by. Right? He's just trying to catch anything he can. He doesn't want any scouting, and his defense at home is very minimal. So if there was a group of Speedlings out, he could be in trouble. Now he sees Speed's not done, so at least that's something. The 2 Vultures, I don't think they'll get by. This is really good placement. Yeah, you just block with drones. You're going to lose like maybe 1-2 drones. Yeah, 2 drones go down, and that's it. So he sacrifices 2 Vultures for 2 drones. It's not great. It's not the end of the world that Bishop loses those either. He's really looking more towards Wraith damage. And now he has a damage drone that he can pick on as well. We'll see if he gets that one. Gonna force a ton of burrows here, it looks like. Hey, that was a pre-burrow on the damage drone from before. So kind of a smart move from Yoon. Yoon will end up burrowing every drone there at the natural expansion. Now, his timing is such that he's gonna have Scourge popping out. It does look a little bit different, right? Last time he went for a heavier Muta and lesser Scourge. Here we definitely have more Scourge this time. The Scourge may be able to even chase the Wraiths home. I think his micro's too good for that, probably. By the way, no cloak. No cloak. He's just focusing on Wraith numbers right now. Dude. It's crazy. Bishop just... This has to be very frustrating for you. Bishop is crushing some face. And you can see, like, he's just keeping them at range so that the mutas are barely hitting. Oh my god. This is adding up so much. He's at, like, 18 drones only, barely mining. Right? This is not a lot of mining going on. The Wraiths are just not getting hit by anything. Dude, I think you have to open Hydra against this. I honestly do not think that anyone is going to beat Bishop in this type of thing. Like with Muta? I don't think so. GG. Oh my god. That's wild. And that means that Bishop will be advancing in first place, absolutely dominating this group going to the round of 8. Yeah, I'm a little bit caught off guard, a little bit at a loss for words. Okay. Yeah, Bishop advances. And next time we'll be going into that losers match. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed.